Boom. We're in. Howdy. Welcome, everybody, to episode 0. This is the test episode of the Spilly Cave Show. I've had a lot of people request, a lot of people ask for a podcast, for something you can listen to on the drive to work, the old daily grind. And so here we are. I'm going to be not talking to chat as much in this kind of recording because this is going to be on YouTube, on Spotify, on your favorite RSS feed or podcast network. So let's get into it. So I thought just kind of establish, this is episode 0, right? To kind of establish where we're going with this whole thing, right? I'm going to have a somewhat of a similar format week by week, right? Now there will be a free podcast for everybody every Tuesday. That's the goal. That's the plan. Then also, if you subscribe to my Patreon, you'll get a patron-exclusive podcast and access to a secret Discord server. Every Friday will be that patron-exclusive show. So, thanks for stopping by. I won't be talking to chat as much as the normal streams because Monday is going to be the recording of the podcast. So if you like hearing me talk, you like hanging out, you like riffing, we're going to be talking about music, video games, kind of whatever. People have just been wanting a podcast, right? People have been asking for it, and that's sick. I was happy to do it. I thought it sounded like fun. If you'd like to be on the show, hit me up, right? Because this is just me doing a solo operation here, but that's fun. You know, so the general format for this show is going to be, at the time being, we'll open up with me just kind of talking about how my previous week was, how the music's going, what happened in my life, that sort of thing. Then we'll start talking about kind of what I've been into musically this week, right? And then after that, we'll talk about what I've been playing video game-wise, okay? And then down the line, you know, you can send email questions to thebillykave@gmail.com, and I'll have an email segment as well, so I can answer your emails as well on the podcast. So without further ado, let's talk about how's my week. My week was good, okay? It was a good week. It was a bit hectic, as you probably noticed. There was no streams last week just because, you know, I was on the road. I did a little mini tour, okay? A little mini acoustic tour with my brother. So before that, we had, the week before that, we had the very first Spilly Cave live show with the live band. God, I'll tell you, it was a good time. It was such a fucking good time. I had a fucking blast. So, you know, this is the first live Spilly Cave band show. Yes, but also these were people I've been playing with my whole life. You know, the drummer, Logan Bedard, who's incredible. He plays in a fusion group called Teen Town as well. Now, I've been playing with him since he was, I think, 12 years old. No, he was 10. I was 14 and he was 10. I'm 4 years older than him. So that was a thing that's like, you know, this band, the first Spilly Cave live show, it wasn't, you know, it was a new thing, but also kind of old school as well. You know, it's the people I've been playing with since I was a teenager. And so it felt really good to have my brother in a band. So we did that. That was at Telus 360 in over in Leicester. It was just a fucking blast. I mean, we had a great crew of people out there. I got to meet some fans for the first time. That was awesome. It was the first time I've done kind of like a show since things have started popping off. That was weird, you know, but it was amazing. Everyone was super sweet. Thank you for coming out. If you came out to the show, thank you for coming out. I really appreciate it. I mean, it's weird writing these songs in a vacuum, right? Because I don't know how, you know, if anyone else listening to this is a musician or not. When I was first starting out, right, you'd start writing a tune, and then you kind of test it live, test it on the open mic circuit, test it at shows, test like a primitive version of the tune. And then over time, the tune becomes a song. Well, when COVID hit and stuff, and I became mainly a producer and a video creator, I started fully forming songs just, you know, in my bedroom, not playing them live, not testing them out, right? Never really giving them the road test, which is strange. That was really weird for me. I'd always done that up to this point. So it was interesting to have a full record's worth of songs that have never been tested live and actually see what they would sound like live. And that was, they're coming for me. No, we're good. But to see all these tunes actually tested live was so much fun because you wonder sometimes, you know, with electronic arrangements, with production and stuff, I wonder how these tunes are going to hit to a live audience. And I think they hit really well. They felt good to me. It seemed people really loved it too, and so I'm very thankful. Thank you for coming out. There will be more details. I'm trying to put together another tune this fall, or another live show this fall, rather. And if we can make that happen, that would be awesome. If not, there'll be a lot more details on things coming in the future. So that was great. I also played a show in Cleveland. I drove out there. I got to hang out with some family in Columbus, shoot the shit about multiverses with my cousin, which was great. Jack. That was such a good time. Everyone's been playing that game, it seems. And so I got to open for a group called Hello Goodbye at the show in Cleveland. Cleveland was interesting. I don't know if we got anyone here from Cleveland. But, that was an experience for sure. One of my buddies, good friends from college, Simon Mastery, runs a pizza shop out there called, or works at a pizza shop out there called Vero. Fuck, was it good. I mean, he told me coming in, he said, this is going to be some of the best pizza you ever had. And I was like, fuck, get out. Great. The best pizza I've ever had in Cleveland. I was like, no fucking way. That's not what's going to be happening. I'm sure it'll be good. That I'm sure the pizza will be good, but he's telling me, you got to come out to Cleveland. It's going to be the best pizza you've literally ever had. And he said, we're making some of the best of the country. We have this insane dough. I'm going up there with my brother. We're thinking, what the hell? Like, we barely had any time to even get out there. And we're like, we got to stop and see Simon and check out his pizza, which he's saying will be world famous. So shout out to Vero Pizza in Cleveland, because dude, it was the best fucking pizza I've ever had. It was. I lived in New York. I've had Joe's. I've had all the good stuff. I mean, this pizza was fucking out of this world. It was so damn delicious. Like, it was crazy how amazing it was. Cleveland, give or take. But that pizza at Vero, it'll get me. I never thought I'd go back to Cleveland, but for this pizza, I would. I got a basic margarita, classic. I feel to test a good pizza, right? A good pizza shop. This is Italian Neapolitan style pizza. It's a very thin crust, doughy crust on the outside, but the actual crust is thin, and very sauce based. It was fucking delicious. Oh my god, it was so good. It was so fucking good. So I had a margarita pizza. My brother had a hot honey pizza, which was this like a honey chili paste. That was amazing. It was like the best damn pizza I ever had. I mean, in Cleveland, Ohio, at Vero Pizza, I think on the east side. So if you're in Cleveland or are passing through Cleveland and you don't want to know where to get good fucking za, go to Vero Pizza. It's absolutely amazing. It was crazy, especially having lived in New York. I was like, there's no way there's going to be better pizza. But so shout out to Cleveland. But anyways, this is episode 0. That was my week. Oh, one other thing. I got to go to a great show in my hometown. I got to see Courtney Barnett, Lucy Dacus, Caroline Rose, and Faye Webster all in one night. And that was amazing. That's where I got my I Know I'm Funny, haha shirt from the Faye Webster show. Because Faye Webster is like one of my favorite songwriters right now. So to get to see all of those powerhouses live was fucking amazing. It was such a good time. And I got to meet some fans there too, which was cool. That was crazy. It's been strange having had internet stuff blown up all during quarantine, because it's been cool going out and about now. And I had some people walk by like, "Are you Spilly Cave?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I am." They didn't believe me at first, and then showed them. We took a picture. They were all really sweet people, all good people. So yeah, that was my week. I know. It was an incredible lineup. But yeah, so just amazing to see all those incredible musicians all at one time. Got to hear my favorite Faye Webster tunes. Courtney Barnett played in a trio, and that was just wild, because her guitar playing and singing, plus the bassist and the drummer, who I don't know their names, I apologize, fucking incredible. I mean, the amount of it's very hard in a trio to fill the sound. It takes one, you have to have great songs, and two, you have to be great players. And Courtney Barnett is an amazing player, an amazing songwriter, an amazing singer, and she just brought the house down. I mean, it was fucking awesome. Fucking amazing. So, okay, that is the housekeeping section of the podcast. Bada bing, bada boom. And now we will get into kind of musically what I've been thinking about. Could just and this is kind of this being episode 0 of the podcast. And by the way, for people listening and anyone watching live, this will all be up tomorrow, every Tuesday on YouTube and wherever you listen to podcasts, except for Spotify. I'm still figuring out Spotify for podcasts, but we'll get there. This is episode 0, right? This is supposed to be the trash fire, so this is the one where we figure out all the problems. So for anyone that's catching up, that first section is going to always be housekeeping. What's been going on in my life? What's the past week been like, right? And then next we'll talk about music. And this is kind of like, I've been kind of wanting a place just to kind of talk about what's been on my mind musically, what I've been thinking about, what I've been listening to, what has been kind of hitting me from a compositional level, and what's kind of been getting me going, right? What has been exciting me in music, right? 'Cause there's a new thing every week, and so, yeah, this is the pilot episode of that. And so this will be section 2 where we talk about the music. I don't have a fun name for it yet, but thanks for listening. And here we go. So this week, I had my drive to Cleveland. We did a little mini tour. Me and my brother played a show up in Cleveland. And obviously there's a lot of time on the road to listen to music. And so as kind of just like one of my go-to records is Can't Buy a Thrill by Steely Dan. And so I put that on the way home, And so Phil and I are listening to Can't Buy a Thrill, because Steely Dan, I think, is one of my favorite bands ever. And so Phil and I listened to this, like, damn, this is a great record. And we were like, what if we listen to the next one? The next record of theirs. And then we went through over the 7-hour drive and listened to every Steely Dan record ever made. And it was so much fun. So I have a new ranking for them, because I've listened to them, basically all of them throughout the years, but I never like listened to them all back to back, So I thought I would just go through, of the 10 Steely Dan records, of the 10 studio recordings, my top 10 favorite ones. Okay, and it's been interesting because the order was a mix-up. I mean, it was different than I thought it would be. I really didn't plan for things to go this way, and I didn't really expect what was my favorite to be my favorite. So at the bottom is Everything Must Go. That's their latest record. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Great record as far as most records go, but compared to Steely Dan's other work, their 2000s material, you got to love Cousin Dupree off of Two Against Nature. That's a fucking great tune. But 10 and 9 are Everything Must Go and Two Against Nature. Now, number 8 is Countdown to Ecstasy. I really thought this was going to be higher than I thought, but it just, for being their second record, their second studio record, it didn't hit me. What I love so much about Can't Buy a Thrill is how strong the songwriting is, as well as the music. And Countdown to Ecstasy just didn't hit me the same way. Now, number 7 is Gaucho. Gaucho is just a solid Steely Dan record. It's just fucking great. I think they are definitely experimenting more from a sonic standpoint of the way that album is mixed. But overall, I mean, here's the thing. When you're talking about Steely Dan, I love this band so much. They're all great. I mean, from Countdown to Ecstasy all the way to One, of all their work from the 70s to 80s, is some of my favorite music ever created. So Gaucho is number 7. Now, number 6 is Aja. I know. It didn't hit the same way it hit the first time I listened to it in high school. And I was honestly surprised that it was that low, because I love this record so much. But I'll get to it. It wasn't that Aja I liked less. It was that these other albums floored me so much more than I remembered when I first listened to them all these years ago. So now we'll get into the heavy hitters. I'll talk a little bit more about these. Number 5, I'm putting The Royal Scam. So The Royal Scam is a weird record, right? It's incredible. It's definitely, as everyone knows, Steely Dan kind of at their most experimental, especially from a harmonic standpoint. But the thing about The Royal Scam, actually, is, I feel as a record as a whole, it doesn't have as strong of an arc. The tunes are really interesting and have a lot of depth harmonically. Royal Scam probably, if besides like some fucking heady fusion tunes, Royal Scam might have the most amount of changes, like chord changes per song of like any record ever, especially any record like of popular nature. And it's just fucking insane how all over the place this record is. It's wild, just out of nowhere. Oh my god, it's crazy. They'll just shift keys and then do changes and fourths and just pop around every kind of the circle of fifths, circle of fourths, and boom, boom, boom. Oh my God! All of a sudden you're here. Oh, parallel major to minor. Oh my God, what is going on? Donald Fagen's yelling. The Royal Scam is insane. I mean, as far as props of a record go, I mean, it's just, you have to, I put it at 5 because as much as I love the experiment, I think their other work is just stronger from a songwriting standpoint. Now, could you make the argument that the Royal Scam is the coolest Steely Dan record? Fuck yeah. You could totally make the argument. And I think you could have a pretty damn good one, too. But anyways, so that's the Royal Scam at number 5. We'll go back through these. And then at, oh no, I messed up. I did my numbering wrong. Sorry, that would be Royal Scam at number 4. My bad. We're talking about Steely Dan here. Royal Scam at number 4. Number 3, I'm putting Pretzel Logic. I enjoyed this music so much more, or this album so much more, than I actually initially thought I did. You know, I've liked Steely Dan since I was a kid. My dad, you know, I've been listening to it since I was a child. Excuse me. But Pretzel Logic just hit in a way that I wasn't expecting. It was just really, it kind of went back to what I love so much about Can't Buy a Thrill, which is just really great fundamental songwriting. You know, that's and I could have written more notes about this, but the top 2 are really what switched for me in this whole ranking. So number 4 is Pretzel Logic, and I really, really enjoyed it. Just from front to back, great record. And this is all, I really wish, I'm going to actually go back through this week and take some notes on specifics I liked. And we'll talk about this next week on the podcast too, or maybe in the Patreon podcast. I'll take some more specific notes of what I like about each record. But this is all on the drive home from Cleveland, so didn't get to be as specific in everything I liked. Kind of just more general vibe of what I dug. Number 2 favorite Steely Dan record was Can't Buy a Thrill. Now, this used to be my number 1. Can't Buy a Thrill used to be my number 1 favorite Steely Dan record. Brooklyn Owes a Charmer, Under Me, incredible. Dirty Work, duh. Come on. Dirty Work is just, it's the song. Dirty Work has won over a whole new generation. That's how good that tune is. You know, Can't Buy a Thrill is really just a record that, as far as a debut record, it is shocking. Absolutely shocking that a debut record could be this strong. Now, I don't know if anyone's ever listened to kind of the demos that Fagen and Becker kind of put out before, well, not even put out, but, you know, had pitched to labels before Can't Buy a Thrill. So they obviously had already been writing for a long time. They've been writing for, I forget which record label, but they've been writing for labels. They had a lot of experience, but, you know, Can't Buy a Thrill as a debut record for a band is just kind of one of the most amazing things I've ever heard. It's just opening with Do It Again. You have Dirty Work, Brooklyn Owes a Charmer, Under Me. I mean, there's so many songs on that record that are just so, from a writing standpoint, so tight. So tight. That record is tight. There is no, and maybe it's one of the most confident records I've ever heard, of just like, hey, this is who we are. This is the kind of music we make. Either you fuck with it or you don't, and we write good songs. We are Steely Dan. Boom. And Can't Buy a Thrill is just, wow. Wow, is it good. That Can't Buy a Thrill has always been my number 1. It was the first Steely Dan record I ever heard. It has always been my favorite. Until, on the ride home, I listened to Katie Lied. And Katie Lied, I mean, just hit me on a whole other level. On a level I never thought hearing the Dan would hit me again. You know, it really is crazy how fucking incredible that record is. So, like, the first 3 like songs on that record are so confident. You have Black Friday, Bad Sneakers, and then Rose Darling. All 3 of those are just incredible. I mean, Black Friday, you have this more bluesy, kind of classic rock style, kind of guitar riff going on here, right? As Donald Fagen is just like, has this like delay on when he's yelling, and he's just, Black Friday comes, and he's just going in. I mean, Donald Fagen's going so in. This is like Katie Lied feels like Steely Dan. It feels like Can't Buy a Thrill just on like cocaine, in the best way of just like, Katie Lied is like, oh my God, it's just like Steely Dan it feels like they really are fully songwriters now. They're fully pro musicians. You know, like Can't Buy a Thrill is they're like, they know what they're doing. They're killing it. And then Katie Lied for me feels like where they solidified. Yeah, I think they're like the best of all time. Yeah, and then Bad Sneakers. So just off of like the first 3 songs, Black Friday into Bad Sneakers into Rose Darling, is just fucking nuts. I mean, it's just stupid how good those 3 songs are, let alone the rest of the record. I mean, Your Gold Teeth 2 is a personal favorite of mine. Chain Lightning is incredible. But Rose Darling, too. I mean, I think it's, I didn't look this up, but it sounds like Michael McDonald is on background vocals on Rose Darling. It has this very cool thing where it does in the chorus of Rose Darling, or the pre-chorus, I guess, rather, is basically like, to explain it, I'm trying to think how I would explain this with words. Well, it has kind of like 2 notes that are half step apart in the harmony. So it's like there's one note staying the same, and there's one note moving. It gets very close to the main note. And it's just this beautiful harmony where it sounds like it's like Fagen and Michael McDonald. I could be wrong on that, though. It might just be Fagen. But it's just incredible. Rose Darling's beautiful. And then it's also Rose Darling is like my favorite tune on the record. Just because like I don't know what like Donald Fagen was doing before that session for that song. Because like the verses of that tune, he sings almost as if he's doing a parody of Bob Dylan, and it sounds amazing. He's like, no, like, but in Donald Fagen voice, and it's incredible. It's like a Fagen impersonation of Dylan in the verses, and then there's like the most beautiful, like straight flat harmonies you ever heard in the chorus. I'm wondering if like, I don't know, it must have been deliberate, right? Because his singing's just so on point this whole record. And then all of a sudden, Rose Darling, it sounds like he's wavering, and it's just like what is going on. So it sounds amazing. I think it's a great stylistic choice. Lyrically, I love Dr. Wu a lot. It's a really fucking great tune. And then Bad Sneakers, yeah, another one where just musically, oh my god, just so beautiful, just beautiful. But yeah, that's the list. Okay. That's, I think, yeah, as a chatter said, I think Bad Sneakers could easily be a top 5 Dan tune. So I'm sure it will change as time goes on, you know. But as of now, my favorite Steely Dan album is Katie Lied, which I did not, that was such a delightful surprise on a 6-hour drive home. You know, driving home from Cleveland, listening to every Dan record, or 7-hour drive rather, so we hit some bad traffic. First off, it was just super fun. Now we listened to Countdown to Ecstasy twice. We listened to Presto Logic twice through, Can't Buy a Thrill twice through, and Katie Lied twice through. Oh, and Ajat twice through as well. So, yeah. And it's just, you know, as a chatter just mentioned, yeah, the Michael McDonald's vocals, background vocals on Katie Lied, it's such a beautiful antithesis to Fagen's kind of more not classical, not very soft, not very perfect vocals. Michael McDonald is just pure bliss. If you never listen to the Doobie Brothers, that's a must. You know, What a Fool Believed, I think, is easily one of the greatest tunes ever made with Michael McDonald on lead vocals. So that's music this week. That's kind of what I've been listening to every Steely Dan record. It was a fucking blast. It was such a good time. It was crazy to see my order change. I didn't think that would happen. I thought I kind of had it on lock. But that's the fun, you know, as you grow up and you get older, seeing your ideas of things change as time goes on. So it was a great time. Really, really great time. Okay, so let's talk about, this is something I've been, you know, this is episode 0, right? This is the pilot episode of the podcast. I've had a lot of people asking for the past months to do a podcast, and I thought, fuck it, let's go do it, you know? Let's get at it. By the way, brands, you want to sponsor this? I'll read your sponsors. I'll do it in any voice you want. You want me to do your sponsor reads in an Eddie Vedder voice? You know, it doesn't matter. I'll do a sponsor. If you're a brand, sponsor the podcast. I'll do a nice ad read for you. But anyways, this is the pilot episode of the show, right? So right now the format is open, you know, with the housekeeping. What's been going on in my life. Number 2, we talking about music, that kind of thing. You know, we talk about what I've been listening to, what's been inspiring me lately, all that kind of stuff, you know. And then also number 3, then we talk about video games, because I fucking love video games. That is my life. The 2 poles of my life are music and video games. So that's what we're going to talk about. And that's what the podcast will be about. Because I was wondering, you know, people have been asking for a podcast for a super long time, and I thought, well, we'll just do this. This sounds nice. We'll just talk about what I like, what I can talk about. And that'll be it, right? That's what we'll do. Okay, so yeah, let's get into it. This is section 3 of the of the Spilly Cave Show, right? We'll call it, let's see. Let's check section 3. So number 1 is housekeeping. It's a 3-section podcast with an intro and an outro. Section 1 is housekeeping. Section 2 is, I don't know, music heaven. And section 3 is gamer heaven. I don't fucking know. We're just talking about my favorite things here. So what have I been playing? Okay? It's been, I think, a great summer for games. People have been saying it's been slow. I don't get that. I've been having too much to play still. Now I have been catching up on some old stuff. That's for sure. I've been catching up on some old games. That's true. But also, I've been playing some new stuff, too. So I'm a huge fighting game fan. DNF Duel came out this year, this June, in part developed by Arc Systems Works, who, if you know me, you know Guilty Gear Strive is what I believe to be the greatest video game of all time. That is kind of like my magnum opus of fighting games. I think it's Guilty Gear Strive. I think it does, from an art design standpoint, from a mechanic standpoint, from a speed to a visceral nature of the characters, from character design. Guilty Gear Strive is just, I think, one of my favorite video games ever made. So when I heard the announcements that DNF Duel was going to come out, and although not developed by Arc System Works totally, I know they helped out with it and lent their engine to it. It is such a fun game. I've been really having a blast with it. I've been maining Ghostblade. He's been my main. Him and Grappler have been my 2 favorites. It's funny, they're actually kind of diametrically opposed characters from a philosophy standpoint, to a certain extent. A philosophy standpoint, but the thing is, they're both risk and reward characters, which I really, really like. I love that risk and reward in fighting games. I love characters where you have to gamble a little bit, but when you hit it right, you demolish, and you can take control through your understanding of the game mechanics. So I've been having a lot of fun with Grappler and DNF Duel. It's been cool to see that game so well supported. The netcode's great. It's super easy to hop into a game online. And so I was playing, for the first month or so, I was really just maining Ghostblade, getting all his moves down, getting all his combos down, trying to get some 50 to 75% combos. And then I had a night with my buddy Jordan where we were playing DNF Duel, just kind of trying out different characters, and Grappler just started feeling good. His super armor on his forward dash to set up his grab combos feels so good. Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. He's got a nice DP as well. And Grappler is just so... here's the thing. You could say from a tier standpoint, he could be one of the lowest, but the fun you can have with him as a character is just such a blast, because once you get in with Grappler and DNF Duel, once you get in there, it's over. It's over. You're getting 50 to 60% of their health almost every time, especially if you have meter. You can get a 75% combo out of him. It is just amazing how much fun he is to play. The thing is, he dies so easily. Any kind of zoner, you are pretty fucked. It's rough. But, when you're not, when you get in there and you gamble right, he's fun. So that's what I've been playing in DNF Duel. I'm still going to be playing more of that. Someone in chat asked who my favorite Super Smash Bros. Character is. I'm a Samus main. Always have loved Samus. I love, and now it's funny because I'm not usually a zoner, and Samus is nice. It's kind of a hybrid. She's kind of a hybrid character, because Samus is fun because I love how you can kind of control with dropping bombs in the air plus shooting off rockets, but then when she gets in, she's nasty too with her lightning grab, and as well as her kind of quick melee combos. So I'm a Samus main through and through. I like Samus a lot. I like Link's classic. I've been playing Smash since I was like 5 years old, so a lot of the classic characters are always going to be my favorite. But I also love Snake a lot too. I'm a huge Metal Gear fan, so Solid Snake is just so much fun in Smash Brothers. I'm trying to think of Smash Ultimate who I play. I fucking love King Cruel. Oh, King K. Rool. King Cruel. King K. Rool is one of my favorites in Smash Ultimate. I just love the combos you can get with shooting off the cannon and sucking it back in is so much fun. As well as his parry is just so much fun. Yeah. But that is, I'm a huge fighting game fan in general. That's been something that kind of since I was a kid, it's very funny. I joke a lot because my very first video game, not my first video game I ever played, but the first one I ever owned for the PlayStation 2 when I was 4 years old, was a big deal because my dad was a gamer back in the 90s. So I got lucky that I got to play video games from a very young age. So it was Street Fighter EX3 on the PS2. Now, if you're not familiar with the EX series. It's a bit different than Street Fighter 3, where one, it's not sprites, it was 3D, and also it was by a different studio at Capcom. And it had a bunch of different weird characters too. And so when I actually first played Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter Alpha at an arcade as a kid, I was like, this is not Street Fighter. Street Fighter is 3D, it's polygonal, it's EX3, when in reality I actually didn't even know what traditional Street Fighter was like. So I'm very excited for Street Fighter 6. That looks, the jury gameplay, and not Vanessa, then whoever the other new character is, looks incredible. Street Fighter 5 was definitely a downturn for the series. Didn't really know where it, I think Street Fighter 5 didn't really have a soul. It didn't really know what it was, and Street Fighter 6 just looks like Capcom's like, hey, guess what? We didn't go out of business. Monster Hunter World was a hit years ago. We've been building back up. Street Fighter has a budget again, and Street Fighter 6 is going to be awesome. I love all the paint stuff they've been doing. The one character has, can throw paint cans. Jury looks badass as ever, and just such like fucking all her kicks are so sick. I really think Street Fighter 6 is going to be a big game at EVO this year, or next year rather. So I'm very excited for Street Fighter 6. Big fighting game fan. So I've been actually dabbling my toes into multiverses, which I didn't think I was going to like, to be honest. Didn't think it was going to be something that kind of I connected with. But, because it's just, platform fighters besides Smash Bros. Have never really done it for me. Tried out Brawlhalla, tried out the Nickelodeon one. I didn't really dig them. I just don't think the mechanics were there. They seem kind of like, whatever. Multiverses has some legs on it. I think it could be pretty cool, depending on how they support it. The characters are really fun. Some of the characters are a bit too supporty for me. They rely a little bit too much on the 2v2 systems. But overall, I'm having a good time. I've been maining Batman. Been having a lot of fun with Batman. Just because it's really, really, really exciting when you have someone that's off the map and then you can get the grapple combo down to a dive kick on them, or his like downward kick, and that just fucking always gets them out. And their combos are pretty crazy with Batman. You can get a good, like, I think it's like 50% combo with him if you're real lucky, and you can also, get a ring out on him too, which is all about ringing out. So Multiverses is good. I think it has legs on it. Depending on how the team supports it, I think it really could be something that people play for a long time. I think also it depends on the characters too. I think they shouldn't rely on the kind of odd job characters. Like, for example, Ultra Instinct Shaggy is cool, right? It's funny. It's a funny little bit. Of course, it's great. But I think overall, that's not what the game is going to sell off of. That's not what is going to bring people back from playing. You want to have characters that people really connect to on a fundamental level. The thing that makes Smash Bros. So great is there's emotional connection with your characters. Your main, on one hand, yes, and so you love the best mechanically, but the perfect fighting game character, right? There isn't one specific objective perfect fighting game character. The perfect fighting game character is the one that you emotionally connect to and mechanically connect to the most. When you have that synthesis of emotional connection of a character you love, plus just the character that feels the best to play, that's the best fighting game character. That's what's going to keep you coming back. That's the big thing with Guilty Gear Strive. Chip. I'm a Chip main in Guilty Gear Strive. The lightning fast ninja, right? That is what kept me coming back to him. And that game was, I loved him as a character, him just training, being this ninja, and then plus the way he played. And so Multiverses, right now I'm loving Batman. You got to have a few characters that you dig. And so depending on what their DLC route looks like, I think it's so smart that they went free to play. I think that's going to be the future. I'm going to make a hot take right now. I could also see Street Fighter 6 being free to play. I don't think that would be a bad thing necessarily. Now, here's the thing. In the fighting game landscape, right, next year, what we got? We got Multiverses out now. It's good Multiverses came out now. I think DNF Duel is doing pretty good, has a kind of a staunch fan base. Guilty Gear Strive is going strong. Bridget, she was just announced for Season 2. Very cool. She's going to be amazing. Or she's just already out. I haven't gotten a chance to play her yet. But then Multiverses kind of has this nice... We don't really have a lot of fighting games coming out until next year. So I really think that it could really establish some legs. If people love the battle passes, if people like the characters that are going to be coming out, I think it really could kind of have a stake of its own in this whole thing. I'm excited for it. I think they could really do a great job with it. And the mechanics are there. I mean, it's already got some gameplay legs. It feels good to play. Been playing a few games every couple nights, and it's just been fun. And that's, I think they just need more characters that we connect to as players. For me, I love Batman. Duh. I mean, he's one a lot of people connect to. That's not unique or anything like that. But Finn's great. He's really fun to play. A bit OP, but Finn is also someone I've been playing as. But yeah. So that's just kind of as far as the fighting game landscape goes. That's kind of how I've been feeling, kind of where I'm at. Now, other games I've been playing. I've been doing a playthrough with my brother of Dark Souls 2. I'm going to take a sip of water real quick. I've been having an absolute blast with Dark Souls 2 again. Now, we've just been kind of going back through it together just because, Elden Ring came out this year. If anyone, to get to know me, this is episode 0. This is the pilot. My gaming tastes. Dark Souls from Software. Their games are my favorite games ever. I think, they really are like my favorite developers of all time. So Dark Souls 2. I kind of never beat that one. That was one that just kind of fell through the cracks. I think in college, I got to the Iron Keep and then kind of gave up. I was like, okay, I think I just fell off of it. Life happened, school happened, that kind of thing. So I've been going back through Dark Souls 2, playing a Dex build. I'm using the Black Knight Halberd, having a fucking good time. Now that game is full of so much bullshit, though. It's insane. I mean, compared to all the other games, I know people talk about. I love Dark Souls 2. I'm having a great time with it. I don't poo-poo it as much as other people, but that game is full of so much little annoying bullshit throughout the levels. And I know it was even worse before Scholar of the First Sin, but I love that game from a world design standpoint. I think Majula is the greatest hub of all their games. I love from an adventure standpoint. Dark Souls 2 feels very, very magical and very, very cool in a way that's less dark. Doesn't really feel like Dark Souls. It feels like Sad Souls. Dark Souls 2 is this very melancholic, beautiful game. It's the fire fading in a once great kingdom. In Dark Souls 1, you have the fire fading, but it kind of feels like, man, they kind of deserved it. Dark Souls 2, they deserved it, but you're also kind of sad about it. You're kind of like, shit, damn, there's something cool here. There's something beautiful about this place. And it shows with all the people that have, made their pilgrimage there. All the people that came to Majula in search of something greater. I think Dark Souls 2 has a cool vibe to it that is underrated, I think. I think people are annoying about it because they just talk about mechanics. They don't talk about from a feeling standpoint of the world and the lore. And I think Dark Souls 2 is kind of a cool vibe to it. So I'm past the Iron Keep. I'm the farthest I've ever been into Dark Souls 2. I'm at Drangleic Castle. I have not fought the Mirror Knight yet. I've watched a lot of speedruns, so I know the game pretty well. I have not fought the Mirror Knight yet, but I'm having kind of no issues in the bosses. It's really the annoying levels and the boss runs that are causing any trouble. The Iron Keep one always sucks. But after beating the 2 bosses there, the optional and the main one, now I am making my way to Drangleic Castle into the Mirror Knight, the Glass Knight rather. So I'm going to go next. As far as other games I've been playing, I've been playing Cult of the Lamb, which just came out this week. Fucking awesome. Cult of the Lamb. If you like roguelikes and you like Animal Crossing, or if you like one but hate the other, you will love this game. I mean, it's such a good time. My God. I'm having a blast with Cult of the Lamb. So basically, I'll give you the rundown of kind of how this game goes, right? So basically, you are a lamb cast out by the old gods, but brought back to life by this eldritch being. And basically, this eldritch being is like, kill the old gods, make a cult for me, okay, and take them out. And so basically, you are given your little plot of land and a couple followers to start out with. And then you have to make dungeon runs and randomized dungeons, a la Hades, a la every other roguelike. And through that, you get new followers, you get resources, and you can build up your town, your cult, and that kind of stuff. And so it's like Animal Crossing, as you have to gather resources, you're building a farm, you're making huts for people, you have to keep everyone happy, that kind of thing. You're running the town, you're running the cult, you're the cult leader, you're giving blessings to people. But then the combat is kind of basic action RPG style stuff. It's good. It's serviceable. It controls well. It's tight and punchy. The dodge is nice. Nothing too complex. The roguelike aspects are more just about to give you something to do, to provide a nice gameplay loop with all of the kind of town management sim kind of stuff. The fun part is kind of the role playing. So, for example, you can name your town. My town's named Slam City. I don't know why. It's so stupid. And then in Cult of the Lamb, what you do is you can kind of level up and declare new laws and decrees and new rituals for your cult, which is really fun. This is where it gets fun. So, for example, I made my town Slam City, and I'm loving Cult of the Lamb so much. So I'm naming everyone I take into the cult, because you can rename and change the look of everyone that you take into the cult. I have renamed everyone into Simpsons characters, which has been very fun. I had an evil Millhouse that tried to destroy the cult, but luckily we sacrificed him. So I've been leveling up the cult in a very fun way, where I've made it basically a capitalist hell, capitalist, like a pseudo-fascist Christian capitalist hell. And it's been very fun. So basically the way I've set up my cult is that they believe working is life, and work is the meaning of life, and they also believe in an afterlife, and they believe that there's no end in death. So I've basically made my cult, they're so happy. I've had no problems with happiness, because they all believe working is the meaning of life, and it doesn't matter if they die. So I've just created this whole like Christian fascist basically style cult. It's been very fun. And then anyone who is a naysayer at all, I sacrifice, boom. But the great thing is then I've also given them a Sabbath, a day of rest. So even if they ever get any disgruntled at all, I just give them a day off. They're good. It's nice. But I've run into the problems where, like Bart Simpson, I have Homer and Bart are in love with each other and trying to marry each other. So that's kind of weird. Marge has been asking me to eat shit, for her to eat shit, and she actually made herself so sick she died, so I had to bury Marge. Flanders, Ned Flanders in my cult became so nice and lived to old age and passed on, and we held a funeral for Ned Flanders. It's so much fun. It's like fucked up Sims. It's the best. I'm really, really enjoying it. So having all the Simpsons characters that I'm naming, in the cult has been really, really fun, getting to rename all of them and that good stuff. It's super fun. And then the bosses are pretty fun too. You get quests from your cult members, kind of like randomized quests, kind of procedurally generated quests. And then also the dungeons that you go into are procedurally generated as well. Kind of classic roguelike nature. But you get some fun weapon upgrades and stuff. I like the axe a lot. The axe feels good. Big damage, slow. But you get little quests from all of your people too. So for example, like you'll get little quests that are difficult because, I had one person, I had Homer once, like, hey, would you bring in these 2 sick people? Well, the problem with sick people is they puke everywhere and they shit everywhere, and they can also get your other people sick. Now, luckily, at this point, I've built a hospital, I've built an outhouse, and I've also built a janitorial station so people can, do all their janitorial duties. I have a janitor now in the cult. But if I hadn't had that up to that point, I'm very happy I already had that. Those 2 sick people I brought in could have made everyone sick and killed my whole cult. Now, the problem is you can deny people side quests, but they lose 35 faith in you. They lose faith in you, and so that makes everyone more disgruntled, all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of fun. I actually don't usually like management sims. I'm not a huge Animal Crossing fan or a Sims fan, just because I feel I get a little too bored sometimes. But the fucked up nature of this is making me have an absolute blast, and just making me like you get to be like an evil cult leader in a very fun way. It's very silly too. So we do fire dances and all that good kind of stuff. Fire dances, ritual sacrifice, belief in the afterlife, a cult of work. It is a good time. Side quests, great fishing mini game. Good kind of a great loop of every time you're slightly getting bored with the management sim, you're going to go do a dungeon run. And then when you get sick of dungeon running, you're ready to do the management sim more. It has I'm excited to see more where it goes. I have run into, as far as bugs go, I've run into one really annoying bug that's more just aesthetically annoying than anything. It's not gameplay annoying. But so, for example, you can unlock new tile sets for the floor of your cult, right? So you start off with, a basic tile set of the cult. It's just grass. It's like you're set up in a field. But you unlock where you can do like tile or mosaic or wood, and you can replace the floor to make it look more like a room or something like that. The problem is that in the game, I got this mosaic tile set. I thought, it would look so cool if I did like half of the place mosaic. I did, and I did like 3/4 of it, and then I hated the way it looked, and I started deleting it. But then the game glitched and like will never let me, even if I delete it again, it's always there. So it looks really, really annoying. It's just like very aesthetically displeasing where I have this like weird patchwork mosaic on the floor. And every time I like change it and then load out of the game and load back in, like the weird mosaic's back. So I'm hoping that bug fix happens. That would be very nice, but we shall see. We shall see. So that's Call of the Lamb. It's $25. I think totally worth it. I've already gotten about 6-7 hours out of it. I'm not only on the second world. I'm having a great time. I can see myself replaying it a bunch of times, you know. So yeah, it's absolutely great. I'm trying to think of anything else I've played this week. That's kind of mainly been it. Playing Dark Souls 2, Multiverses, and Cult of the Lamb. I'm very excited for Roller Drome. It's coming out on the 16th, so that's coming out tomorrow. We'll talk about that next week on the podcast. I'm so looking forward to this. So to give you guys a little primer, Roller Drome is a third-person kind of platforming roller skating game where you also shoot guns. It's published by Devolver Digital, I'm pretty sure, or Annapurna, one of the two. One of the art house niche developers. But I'm super excited for it. I'm trying to put together, I'd love to do something with the developers and maybe make a song for them for the game, but we'll see about that. So that's what I've been playing, and that's about it. What I'm excited for is I'm excited for Modern Warfare 2. I gotta see how that is. I think Infinity Ward kind of knocked it out of the park their last time around in 2019. I think I think Treyarch fumbled the bag a bit, and Sledgehammer fumbled the bag a bit these past 2 years. Here's the thing: I like all kinds of games. I like art house games. I like fighting games. I like real-time strategy. I like it all. But I love a good shooter. I think a good shooter is fucking fun. And I think it could use. I love a good Call of Duty game. It's nice. Just fucking hang out with your friends and kick back and relax, drink some beers and shoot some shit. And shoot the shit while you're shooting shit. So I'm excited for Modern Warfare 2. I really hope they stick the landing. We shall see. Who knows? Activision's quality control has been absolute dog shit. So obviously not going to hold too much faith in that. Also very excited for God of War Ragnarok. I think it's going to be round out the year really nicely. November. I'm excited to see with God of War Ragnarok what that game is. Truly. Because here's the thing. I don't feel that I'm not a graphics nut. I don't feel the need for ridiculous photoreal graphics. I love all kind of games, all kind of graphical systems, whether it be stylized, realistic, whatever. And it seems, so I'm hoping this doesn't seem like complaining, so I'm not complaining. God of War Ragnarok, the graphics seem about the same. It looks about the same, right? And so I'm wondering then is, okay, if the graphics look about the same, which is great. That game's beautiful. 2018 God of War is still beautiful. Some nice upgrades on the PS5, that'll be awesome. But if that game basically looks the same, and it's been 5 years since 2018, four and 3/4, almost 5 years since God of War 2018 in April 2023, what the hell is that game going to be? What have they been working on for 5 years? I don't know. I'm excited. I think it could be really cool. I'm really hoping it's something special. I really think it will be. I really can't believe that we're getting another God of War in this universe. It's going to be the last one, it seems, of the whole Valhalla kind of Viking thing. I'm just wondering what, is this going to be more open world? I know you're going to be able to visit all 9 realms, which is cool. I'm curious what kind of exploration there will be. Is there going to be more puzzles? Is there going to be more spokes? Is it going to be a super long story, kind of JRPG-esque, with kind of long strings that you can explore outwards along this main narrative? That's what I'm hoping. I don't want a straight-up open world of the 9 realms where there's lots of side quests of just, go get this, fetch quest. No, I'm hoping we get a very long JRPG-style story that has kind of branching points where it opens up you can go explore. So, God of War Ragnarok, I'm really looking forward to. Roller Drome coming out tomorrow, I'm stoked for. And then tonight, that kind of ends the gaming segment. And then tonight, we got the finale of Better Call Saul, which is really the finale of the Breaking Bad universe. So, that is what I'll be doing tonight. At the cave house, we are making some eggplant parmesan and some spaghetti. We're drinking wine, watching Better Call Saul. That's it. I think that wraps it up. I think, what was that, 56 minutes? That's a good podcast length, right? I think that wraps up. I think that is the last segment on the Spilly Cave podcast. Episode 0. This is the pilot episode. This is the test episode. Hopefully this has been recording right, and I haven't messed everything up. Otherwise, you all are the only ones who have seen it on Twitch and on TikTok. But hopefully it's been recording right. So that's episode 0 of the Spilly Cave podcast, where we talk just music and video games, my favorite things. If you have any questions for the podcast, okay? I think I said something different earlier, but we're gonna do. Let's see. Actually, you know what? Let me think real quick. Where we want to send these messages. Oh, you know what we're gonna do? Okay. If you have questions for the podcast, disregard what you heard earlier, because I don't want my main email to get all clogged up. If you have questions for the podcast, what we will do is send them to spillycavemgmt@gmail.com. Okay? If you have questions for the podcast, spillycavemgmt@gmail.com. I will get your questions there, and then I'll answer them on the show. Now, if you liked what you were watching today, you liked hanging out and watching this, you can join. How can you support me? They go, oh my God, how do you support him? What do you do? How can I help? You can join the Patreon. It's in the link in my bio. It's $5 a month to be a junior club member. Okay, it's $5 a month. What do you get for $5 a month coming to my way? You get a patron-exclusive Discord where you can hang out in the Discord and talk. Then also there's a weekly podcast only for patrons every Friday. Okay, so you will get the patron-exclusive podcast. This podcast is free. This will be everywhere every week. Okay, you don't have to worry about it. Every Tuesday, bam, bam, you wake up, boom, podcast. Now, if you're a patron, though, you're like, oh my God, it's not enough. I love listening to Spilly Cave. Fucking shoot the shit. We're going to Friday is the Patreon exclusive one. So if you want to join the Patreon, that is in the link in my bio. The best way you can support me is either by doing that, but mainly by telling your friends. Tell your friends about me. We'll have more updates on music. There will be a new single next week. And that's it, folks. That's the first episode of the Spilly Cave podcast. We done did it. We done did it again. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's been a blast. Yeah. Have a good week. Stay chill. Have a good time. Relax. So, fairly well, everyone. That is the end of the show.